Alright, everybody, welcome back this lovely, Tuesday night. Tonight, we're back at ESEA Advanced Season 40, Snake's Den. This is a very familiar stream for me. Tonight, back on Ancient to try to redeem ourselves against UGK, the Underground Kings, which I believe Deprive is streaming over on maybe the LCA broadcast. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, gonna be streamed from both perspectives, that's for sure. So a little bit of bias from both sides, but here to represent this stream for at least tonight, it's me. So to preface this game, because this is one that kind of has a couple of talking points that's worth going over. Right, Snake's Den have played this before. I believe I cast that match against Duck Esports. Snake's Den losing out in overtime, 19-17. After, I mean, overall very close games. A lot of rounds not going their way. That just with a couple of minute gunfights going the other way. Just a couple of slight detail shifts. We could have been seeing a completely different outcome. And so in the side of UGK, they haven't actually played Ancient yet this season, so we're going into this with a completely blank slate and expecting them maybe to pull away, or I guess come into this game with a fresh new perspective, something that Snake's had never seen. So they're going to be looking to play their own game in UGK, maybe having looked into the stand, but they do have an analyst that they picked up this season. They'll have a lot more to work with heading into this matchup. But with that said, unfortunately, there still is, only 4 people in the server. This is not enough to play Counter-Strike with, at least not on ESEA. And so we'll be given a little bit more time to wait up, and we'll bring it back to the music while we get, we'll set it going for you guys. Alright, coming back after a little bit of a break, we do have 10 players in the server, and they're starting to ready their ways up, and so that gives me a little bit of time to preface this game just a little bit more and provide some context as we start to get back into this. So, I talked a little bit about how Snakeston have already played this map, and I know last time I casted it at least, so I believe it was the first time they played Ancient at the time. How much of an impact that the op of Jackie made, and Chewy especially being such a big factor in some points of the map, getting a lot of very impactful spray downs for them. So despite them not being able to pull it out, I know they have plenty of players on the roster that can pull out heroics when they're needed and be able to come up huge when the time comes. And inside of UGK, I mean, same has to be said. They're 4-0 in the season. Haven't played Ancient yet, as I discussed before, but they're heading into the season with a very capable roster, and not only that, the majority of the core of which has been together for, I believe, several seasons at this point. So looking to let their experience carry them through here, and I guess their chemistry off the back of that as well. Definitely going to be a selling point for this roster here as we head into Ancient. And so, with that said, I mean, I've casted this map a lot over the last, I would say, week, 2 or 3 times, and it's always interesting to see how players react towards the ace side of the map. I think it's been very hit or miss, right? We see T-side's almost reluctant to take it. Usually it's kind of we're not finding any impact anywhere else, or alternatively, you know, it could be in a situation where I was like, oh, this is the only place where, or we're finding openings here, why go to the B-bomb site when, you know, the CT side isn't really having much of an impact. And so I'd like to see what kind of state of affairs we can establish relatively early on, and what kind of disrespect we can find from both sides, because I know for a fact we've got good operas on both these teams, and they can both show up, you know, with absolutely like wild aggressive plays. And I mean, that's all you need sometimes on a game on Counter-Strike. Just go for some crazy kills, shut them down, make sure they can't make any play their own, and you know, that's how you win games, right? This is advanced. I'm looking to see some stars start to shine. It isn't always tactics that comes to light, and so as we head here into Ancient, we can start to talk about what lovely things this will bring us. Players going to take their knife round for the time being. Yeah, I'm excited for sure. There's a lot of, I don't know. I'm very happy to see, because I've casted the map a couple times this last week. I'm happy to see that teams aren't shy at playing this. First, it seemed to have much of a vertigo problem, where people just didn't want to play it because it was new. But now that people start to get more comfortable with it, they get more hours on it. It becomes more of a pug map. People can be more comfortable with it. They can have more freedom, and they can make work with, I guess, whatever they want to make work with, right? And so, knife round starting to tick out. Quite slow for the time being. I don't think anyone's really trying to get this over with, and so give me a moment. Let me make sure audio's fine. Okay, we're looking good. This is never gonna end, is it? Minute left to work with. Oh, alright, there's first contact. Surely the trade's come through from here. And UGK's ended up on the wrong side of it, so probably gonna end up taking their CT side for sure. Indeed. Snake's Den gonna end up on the T side. Glocks for them as we head into the first couple rounds of this game. Smoke and 2 flashes in the hands of Chewy. Fan favorite for this stream, I know that for a fact. On the side of UGK, Riem's picked up smoke, a decoy, as well as a kit for his team. Very admirable work. Always hard to be that person. Snake's then going to speed up the pace. Going to try to take Cheetah control relatively quick, split it through cave. They're going to find themselves an opening to head into the B-bomb site here. UGK have recognized this and not necessarily fighting for the time being, but Jackie's wanting to fight his way in towards the back side of the map. Reham falling immediately. Shada able to respond with 2 quick headshots, but that's all it's gonna be for him. Hunter finds one on the fallback, but starting to trade each other out. Hornet finds himself with a 1v1. Irish left standing. Kit's not in hand. That was dropped in towards CT, and so information for him, but Hornet well positioned. He'll find himself that last headshot and find Snakeston the pistol round on Ancient. Great work. I mean, you could see that. I mean, that has to be pre-discussed, right? Most pistol rounds usually are predetermined. UGK playing off the bomb side of situations like that, and Snakesden given so much control, able to walk up through cave there, effectively handed the bomb side. And once you give them control of CT, it's so difficult to counter your way back out. And so UGK, they'll mostly force back into this. Mars will be left with a couple dollars remaining, but I'm assuming that's going to be try to kept for an up later on. Mid control, going to be contested. Back 10 ready to greet. Contact's going to be made. Deagle's going to fire off. This crossfire so strong. The question is it going to be cleared? Irish with the MP9 finds his first kill. The Mars with the Deagle. Going to be able to find the second kill though. So 3 remaining players for Snakesden. Making contact in towards Jada. But oh no, Chewy's falling in towards the second angle. Reham finds third. 2 rifles left on the board for Snakesden. They presented so many 1v1s to the CT side. Nothing left to show for it at this point. But information lacking for the CT side. They haven't tried to aggress for anything else. They're very content keeping whatever kills they had in their favor. But Hyena aggressing a little bit too far forward. Finds himself killed before Omad drops 2. 30 seconds left to work with. Still slightly dangerous. That flash definitely came from CT, so Omad has information. Shoulder spotted, but oh, not quite the kill. But he knows how much he hit him. He wants this frag. 17 seconds left. This could carry him in towards the A bomb site, but not gonna happen. Hunter's well positioned off the back of the Deagle. The spam gonna connect, and UGK able to force back and take the second round. If you guys hear audio in the background, I apologize. My roommates are doing their thing. Not really much I can do for the time being, but Snakesden gonna try to stop this push coming down from UGK. Great change up from the pace towards the B side of the map. That's gonna secure them control over towards B, and God, response from the utility to lock them out of the A side of the map. This does give time. Rotations to come through as the take starts to make its way known. Spray down's looking good. The AK finding 3, looking strong and swinging to find itself a 4th as well. All down to Hyena. Just a Deagle in hand. And man, this force buy from Snakesden just didn't find any footing. After you lose control over towards B like that, and the Molly denies you access out towards A. Really, not very many avenues you can take to get back into the round. So UGK able to find themselves a second comfortable one at that. All on the back of that very decisive early round take towards the B ramp. And yeah, this is looking clean. UGK look like they got a game plan coming into this. Second round, fight back into it, try to make something work. Ollie's going to be extinguished, and early contact up towards mid. Mars is going to find himself 2. Off the flash, hoping for more. Instead, he gets shut down, and Irish, the help of his teammate, will drop the last 3, and Snakesden not going to have any luck with the pistols as they head into this next gun round. AK's out on the board, but just not very much utility to work with. They're going to spend it early towards mid. They can find themselves control relatively early on. They could place him in a good position to split away towards the bomb site, but Molly not able to be extinguished. They'll wait it out. Irish is looking to contest, but the flashbang is going to force it back into house as Chewy starts to work his way out. Uncontested. Spotted in towards window. Irish finding first contact. Firing a couple shots to the smoke, but he's going to leave it at that. So off the back of it. Other sides of the map looking relatively quiet for the time being. Omad's taking control towards the A halls. Shada's waiting back of the smoke. When this fades, he could find himself in a 1v1 situation with Hyena. Question is he going to be ready for it? But the AK finds the better angle. Along with the kill and towards CT. Reham position to find himself double. The Galil coming up huge there. Doesn't need a rifle in hand. Start to find entries, but Omod out towards the A site, looking to find an opening. But oh man, Irish is trying to get ahead of the situation. Pushed out with the A1S, finding himself a double, leaving it down to Hyena once again. Finding first kill in this round, following up slightly more. No information on the last two players, but it could just go in his favor. Rehem's playing on this box just fine, but Hein has left himself with 20 seconds left to work with as he routes himself over towards the B site. Unfortunately, information handed off to UGK. They're going to be well positioned to deal with this. Smoke. Obscure the angles. Provide cover for a bomb plant, but Mars pushing out the AK. Well, AK's out, reloaded. Definitely possible for the time being, but a smoke's going to make things a little bit more difficult. Not wanting to commit to the defuse just yet. Mars actually does go for it. Still to the right side of that pillar. It's going to be a safe defuse for him. 100 HP. Hyena's AK not going to connect a single bullet there as UGK find themselves a fourth round, and it's none of Snakesten's gun round just connecting in any sort of way. They've committed with the rifles towards the A side of the map both times, and in both situations, especially the entries didn't quite fall through. We saw both those kills in spawn by Rehem off the back of the Galil, doing exactly what he needed to do. Early days. Shot a swing up the back of a flashbang. Finds himself between two angles. Rehem ready to swing off his dead teammate. Will find another. But in the meantime, Bomb has worked its way down towards the B side. So players looking to find themselves angles. And these two CTs coming in from the catwalk are in an awkward situation. Gunfights definitely fair. Rifles on the board as Hyena finds himself another headshot. Irish could find himself locked out of this bomb site. So despite Mars being ready on the retake, this bomb is in a wall-bangable angle. Looking for the spam. Almost able to connect. Only a couple more bullets needed. But Mars able to grab the defuse. Looking to do it again. With the full HP, just one more bullet needed to make it work. And UGK, once again with the bomb down on the B bomb site, they make the post plant work. So Snake's Den, they didn't have the full buy to begin with. They'll be happy with the situation they were dealt, but you can't help but think they're going to be regretting not taking advantage of the circumstances which ended that last round. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't really seem like UGK are really doing anything wrong here. They seem well positioned. Their rotates are great. They're finding information when they need to, but I guess most importantly, that second round play, or I guess, sorry, third round play, to take control over towards B, you can see how much, like, immediately in Snake's Den's game plan, that shifted focus more towards the A side of the map. They started going for mid-control. They started trying to split through the spawn because they didn't want to try to contest that utility, I guess, at the start of the game. So it does go to show how important pace chasers can be in a game like Counter-Strike at the very start to set the tempo at the very beginning. Well, unfortunately this time, the pace has been set by Snake's Den as we head into round number 7. Chewy's trying to play around this smoke, but no body's going to be fed to him for the time being instead. Some attention being given over towards mid, or it was going to be, but Hornet missed that Molotov, unfortunately. A minute on the clock left, or at least drawing close to it. Resmoke over towards the ramp. Luckily for Snake's Den, they didn't commit to anything towards the B side of the map. Instead, utility going to be launched over towards A. This could be an effective way to draw rotates, but Hunter hasn't contested anything for the time being as Bomb going to start to work its way out. But that utility just too few and far between. They're sticking 3 over towards the B side of the map as entry is going to start to come through. Chewy hitting out a Molotov, 40 seconds left. Won't have to make it work. Mars playing out the AWP, missing that first shot. That's crucial, and not able to follow up off the back of it. Shada able to grab one. A1S almost grabbing a good kill there off the flash of his teammate. Hyena full blind. Jackie dropped shortly afterwards, looking to find 3. Shada able to trade it out. Great work from him. Finding 3 on the B bomb site. Snake's Den failing to find their footing into a bomb site once again. Awkwardly enough, despite this kind of 5-round lead they've got going on, UGK's economy isn't unbeatable. It would only take 1 or 2 round wins to put them back onto pistols. The Snake's Den know this. They've invested back into this round an SG out in the hands of Hornet. Not a very traditional gun these days, but, I mean, some of these angles could be favorable for sure. And you can see, I mean, immediately, Snake's Den, they've recognized they're not having success over towards the B side of the map. They've gambled over towards A. Chewy's out towards mid, but he hasn't found contact. Surprised he's not even slightly more worried about catwalk angles, but 3 positioned towards A. UGK have a perfect read on the situation. Players ready to rotate. Chewy finds one in towards the house. Alright, that might have been Donut actually, but Hunter well positioned as the execute starts to come through. Mars off the back of the op. Shut down the early entries. Smoke will reveal the position of Mars, but... And just so difficult. They're posted on Mars' position, but he's just unwilling to move as he finds another off the back of the op, trying to find the last kill. Jackie up against 4, not able to find the kill. Ashada looking hungry, finds himself his final meal of the round, and 7-1. UGK are looking unstoppable on their CT side. Oh my. Dropped something. Question is, are UGK going to drop the paw? Or Irish pushing up towards the catwalk? It's got players ready to fight him. The boost over the mid smoke finds a victim, and you can see how that's forced the rotation back out from Hunter. The only mid player down, he now has to be concerned about his flank. Early utility over towards Cheetah. This just became an interesting round for Snake's Den. So much map control in their favor. Only 30 seconds into the round. Bomb gonna rotate its way through spawn, so at least for the time being, the B bomb side has been picked as a target. The heroes of the CT side ever present. Mars, he was on the A side of the map last round. This time he's focused attention over towards B as the smokes start to land. A Molotov to deny positioning, but Hornets found himself in front of it. Mars full blind, finding himself a kill, but he wants more. Missing that op shot, that was actually crucial. Shada, working around this smoke, finds himself a headshot. Sneaky little man. Bomb. Ready to go down. 30 seconds left. Refreshing the timer. Now comes the difficult part for UGK. They've made these post plans work in so many situations, but oddly enough, the one difference here could be crucial is the fact that they don't have ramp control. UGK able to secure it, and the kills coming in towards Cave as well. Oman not going to make the difference in this round, and these B retakes just look unstoppable from UGK. Snake's Den not able to find themselves in good enough positioning to force the crossfires, to find themselves early kills. The smokes, the utility being saved from UGK more than enough to isolate the angles. This is a situation where I would almost have to call a pause if I'm Snake's Den. You find yourself into the bomb site, I would say the majority of the time, but if you can't keep those post plants alive, if you can't start to adjust and maybe you take control over towards CT, you force yourself into situations where you have to split through mid, split yourself through spawn, and when UGK are more than comfortable gambling players over towards that side of the map, I mean, you're losing out on SC side. So Shada, I mean, you can see he's looking confident right now. Still, you've got utility in hand, but he just wants a kill here. Instead, he's going to fall back. Not granted anything. Control will start to be taken over towards mid. Irish smoked off. I have to reposition as Mars drop down. Half HP, I think tagged through the wall. Didn't exactly see it. Both teams doing a good job at staying alive for the time being. A mistake in this round could be telling of the momentum shift. 45 seconds left to go, though. Bomb in towards mid. Jackie's looking for an opening. If he finds this, that might just provide a way back towards the B side of the map. An A side of the map. An early flick for Jackie finds the op of Mars, but Hunter playing around the smoke only finds one kill. Irish with the A1S in hand. He rotated back through from CT. Picked up a stranded player and looking to find a sec, but instead Shada does it for him. Awesome spray control from him to down Hornet. So Hyena left in a 1v2 situation. Spotted out. All he has to do is try to isolate these angles. Bomb is not looking to be in a good situation, but the defuse starting to come in. Hyena hitting the first spray. Information on the second. Unfortunately, time just not in his favor as well. Oh, flick, gonna be hit through the wall. That definitely looked like a backtrack. Hyena seemed to be behind it, but I mean, hey, this is Counter-Strike. UGK gonna find themselves in 9th, and once again, I mean, that's like the 4th or 5th post-plant situation? Not gonna go their way? UGK in round number 11 looking for double digits already. Snakes Den, their only success was the pistol round. And you can tell they almost look speechless. I don't know how to explain it. There's a certain vibe that comes out on the server from players in situations like this. There's no other way to describe it than just... I've mentioned being at a loss for words. I mean, they know what position they're to get a double, but it almost seems like players lack the creative freedom with scorelines like this. It's very difficult to force yourself to be the one to make a play when you're at a scoreline like this, and potentially your teammates could start talking you down, saying, why'd you go for that play? There was a safer option, yada yada yada. But in a scoreline like this, you need to find yourself an opening. And I mean, hey, Snakes Den, they put themselves in a great situation in this round. Hunter's only going to find himself one as the bomb goes down, so he puts himself in a 1v3. But kills have been found all over the map, and Snakes Den know with an opportunity to grab a second. And Hunter, this team's economy not looking too healthy. They've been left in so many clutch situations in this game so far. He's going to concede this. Keep the AK heading into the next round, and Snakes Den now handed an opportunity to turn the scoreline on its head. They're not going to be able to find very many rounds, even if they sweep this half. But now 6th is a dream and a possibility at that. I'm interested, right? Because the scoreline, I mean, very heavily favors towards UGK. They got Shada Hunters popping off, but very important kills coming out for the rest of these players as well. I mean, over the side of Snakes Den, everyone's pretty even. It's definitely not what we've been expecting. Every time I've casted Snakes Den, it has been just a couple of very important plays from all the individuals coming out, making sure that I guess this sort of pace can't be set by UGK, that there's openings always able to be found because someone's just taking the right gunfights. But Irish getting hit in that Molotov, they might just be expecting this. Deagles in play. As the smoke starts to fade, they want to try to find some headshots. Mars has been left alone with the USP. Instead, he's going to go down, control over towards Catwalk, going to be contested by Hyena. The USPs are scared away for the time being, but the question is Hyena going to be scared, rather, baited, sorry, into this crossfire situation? Spots both players. The wallbang not going to connect any more damage, but being chased, he finds himself too. Solid work over in mid. Hornet finds a stranded Irish. Struggling my words a little bit. But Snakes Den following up on UGK's eco. They bring the T side a third. And the scoreline is starting to close as well. I mean, not only that, these are important rounds because they can build the sort of confidence that you need to get back into off of score lines like this. And UGK back to low buys as well, taking this early control over towards the B ramp. We saw them do this on the third round, but getting ahead of the smoke, Shada will find himself dead early on. Control over towards mid to respond. Snakesden accelerating the pace over towards Donut. They recognize that they're taking control over towards B. It's probably because they've left mid slightly exposed. Hunter, I think, has been spotted out. Jackie finding himself a kill from Donut. Hunter following shortly on the B bomb site. So Mars and Reham left in an awkward situation, to say the least. Crossfire here towards CT. A timing slightly missed there, but seems like Hornet's in a good position to stop that anyway. That leaves poor little Mars. Jackie with the op's going to be able to shut him down as well, and so the Deagle's not going to find any success there. Snake's then able to find a fourth, and I mean, their economy's looking strong. If there are more rounds and a half, they might be able to snowball their way off of this, but instead they'll be forced to contend with UGK's next gun round, an op coming out for Mars. Hasn't had the greatest or the flashiest kills this game, but he has been showing up when he's been needed. But a more passive setup from UGK, not wanting to take any chances for the time being. They're going to let the utility fade from Snakesden, and I have a feeling that they're going to try to play. They might be trying to gamble. But Snakesden will force the situation over towards the B bomb site. They're only saving the utility that they need to try to retake it. Donut control is going to be contested shortly. Hyena looking for one kill off the corner of the wall, finds the head of Shada, but finding information on the second, just needs to control the spray, but it's a dangerous gunfight, and down to 1 HP. Not wanting to opt to swing for that one anymore. Instead, he can throw some utility for his team. Could be more use elsewhere, but Irish, looking for information, finds himself with a couple bullets in his chest. Hornet will down him as mid-control completely falls to Snakesden, and the flank now being held as well. Bomb's going to rotate over towards the A side of the map, and it's all down to Hunter. M4 in hand. Line up as possible, but that first kill not even going to go his way. Omad finds the entry frag, and so Jackie and House holding the flank. I think UGK might be somewhat aware of this. If not, they're paying attention to their economy situation, and so Snakesden going to find their fifth and finding about as good a recovery as you could off of the initial scoreline. They'll be playing for the last round just to seal the deal regardless. Starting to find some kills. Snakesden aren't worried about the money. They can go for every single body here. Just no more openings. The only thing I would be worried about is if Reham picks up that op and they find themselves in a double op situation, but no, not for the time being. Instead, Omon's going to try to look for more, and he finds the lurking head of Reham, and so despite that not being the op going down, that is an AK out of possession, which could mean the difference between them winning or losing this round. The M4 is going to have to be brought out, maybe even the FAMASas or MP9s at that. Utility, very important on a map like this, and so we see one FAMAS, 2 MP9s, and an M4 being bought back off of the saved AWP. That's right, it's comeback season. I would say on a map like this, because UGK do have information, they have an analyst in the server, I can almost guarantee that Snakesden's demo was watched last time. If you don't have a lot of practice, maybe even official runs on a map like Ancient, it can be difficult to try to counter someone, or a team, who has just the upper hand in terms of information on you. Mars in towards Donut. Finds a lurking Jackie. Crossfire looking to be broken in towards Cave, though. MP9 in hand. Reham starting to spray away. The MP9 finds the victim, but Chewy finds the wrong body. It will be Shada who go down. He was trying to support his teammate. Snakes then start to shift. Target is the B bomb side. Smoke's gonna work its way over towards window. Mars. That should keep Mars' attention focused over towards Donut as Hunter is posted towards the back of the bomb site. Finds the victim over in mid as Hunter off the back of the FAMAS. I might have spotted that boost earlier instead. Hornets' plans have been cut down, and UGK find themselves a 10th round off of a very dominant early start of that half. You have to respect, I mean, the level of confidence they brought into their CT side there. They came in, they knew exactly what they wanted to do. That third round proved the point. You don't go for B pushes like that if you weren't kind of coming into the game plan to do something like that. I would say Snakes Den just, I mean, looking like the less confident team. UGK able to set the pace. I've said that several times now at this point. I'm starting to get into my own head, maybe. But yeah, I mean, if I'm looking for Snakes Den to recover here, I mean, pistol round is obviously where it starts. That's where it starts for every kind of comeback, I would say, right? I can't really do much more other than that, but 10-5 scoreline isn't impossible. Heading into your CT side when you have the caliber of players as you do here on Snakes Den, and you know, for UGK with not having played this on an official match yet before, this could present them with uncertain variables, so to speak. And so looking into the second half, there's definitely opportunities for both teams to, I guess, for UGK either to just carry this game away and pull out the victory, or Snakes Den to hopefully follow through with the storyline. So it would be an awful waste to come back from that 9-1 scoreline and hand UGK their 5th win of the season. Second pistol. Plenty of utility for this T side. 2 smokes, 2 flashes to work with as 3 players begin to armor up. Hunter's been given a P250 to work with as well, and over the CT side, not much. Just some dualies and a kit for Chewy, sorry. UGK. They forced their way into Donut, a similar pace being brought up for them as Snakes have brought in their own CT side, but Hyena through the smoke. I'm actually unsure how he got that kill on the flank. Through Donut, Shada has found himself a kill as well, and so without temple control, Snakes Den could find themselves in a situation, but the smokes will have to fade at some point, and these crossfires will have to be fought. Jackie finding himself, this teammate, a couple bullets into the back of Irish, but just so many angles to consider here. Looking to try to find some. Jackie finding another kill. Contact being made out towards the A lobby, and oh my gosh, the gunfights going the way of Snakes Den. 2v1 for Mars, and going down as well. That's going to be a pistol round. Second pistol for Snakes Den, a 6 on the board for them as UGK, despite the very favorable post-plant conditions, they can't put themselves on the right trades to stop the defuse from going through. And I mean, yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there. I guess that might be the intricacies I was talking about of not having quite enough official practice on this map. Something like that where you maybe haven't run a pistol round through enough to understand what a team like Snakes Den might be bringing to the table. They got aggressive. They got the kills before the crossfires made their chance to be known, and UGK will buy back into this with a couple of pistols. They're opting to buy into this next round, and MP9's in towards Cheetah. Looking to find themselves an early round. Maybe some damage, but Sound gonna reveal a fallback towards Cave as Take has been rushed out towards the B side of the map. The MP9 from Hornet gonna find a victim. He's looking for more as Chewy and Jackie double up as well. Control all left to be contested as Rehem drops. Bomb's going to be an easy defuse for Snakes Den, and UGK only have to take down Irish to find themselves the 7th, and the Deagle spam not going to work for him. But I don't think UGK are complaining here. Their smokes did what they needed to do. They found themselves onto the B-bomb site, they've got themselves a bomb plant, and they came into this round with not only a full buy, but they've got a little bit of cash to spend as well afterwards. So if they want to, if they lose this round potentially, they can buy back with even a couple more pistols, maybe a deagle, maybe some armor to work with as well, and you can keep Snake's Den on their toes just for a little bit longer, but definitely wanting to deny the aggression. UGK will be held at bay for the time being, but look at the minimap. So many mollies being wasted. Snake's Den already out of them. And that does leave UGK, unfortunately, at least for this stream, with the upper hand in terms of utility. Map control still in the favor of Snake's Den, but without control over towards the B ramp, the aggressive mid-hold will have to fall back. Hunter making contact over towards A. Spotted the shoulder of Omad, and that does trigger the take over towards mid. Oh no, Jackie was looking for information. He found himself in the crosshairs of Hunter. Not exactly what you were wanting. If you were the CT side, Hyena looking to swing into the clutches of these players. Omad last alive towards the safe side. He's read the push out from Donut, but not going to be able to drop anyone. Shada doubling up off the back of the AK. That does leave Hornets and an MP9 and essentially unwinnable odds, and UGK find their 11 against the bonus round of Snake's Den. And in an awkward economic situation, Snake's Den, you have a weird decision here. You can't buy into this round with an op, at least not without putting Jackie on lower utility. So they want to come into this round with the most amount of rifles possible. They want to keep the utility, understanding that the scoreline isn't make or break, at least not for the time being. They'll keep the pistols and likely concede round number 19. Coordinated to play over towards the B side of the map. Jackie finds himself a first victim, the Deagle coming out there. Honestly, I think that's one of the first Deagle kills we've seen this game, at least with the headshots. So A-Take going to come through. UGK finding it uncontested. In a situation like this, Snake's Den are presented with an awkward dilemma. Do you try to go for something like this, or do you just try to take some rifles out of the hands of these terrorists? But the rifle is just looking so strong there in Donut. Omad with the CZ in hand. On the other side of the smoke, he'll be wondering why the radios went silent. And Irish able to clean up there. So confident 12 from UGK, but Snake's Den now going to be given about as good of an opportunity as you can get. If you can't make it work in a round like this, you'll give UGK their 13th, and the pressure will start to build because you're running out of rounds for the economy to catch up. How many more mistakes able to be made? Off out. Jackie, he'll be taking it over towards mid. Once again, with just 15 seconds tick down on the clock, Snake's Den find themselves with just one Molotov left on the board. And UGK have shifted themselves over towards A, and Execute starting to come through. Smoke's flying over. Omad he's got his teammate nearby. They're creating themselves a wall of smoke. I actually like this. They've saved them specifically for this purpose, and it does funnel UGK in towards Temple. Ready and waiting is Jackie with the op. Not going to connect with any of this flicks, but the bomb's going to start to go down looking for this spray. Instead, it's going to be a couple players on the other side of the smoke that take some damage. This post-plant situation is going to be an exceptionally dangerous one, and the smokes start to fade. And Mars, they've dropped a smoke into Temple. This is control that's going to be given to them. In for a 4v4. So many of these players on UGK have been dropped. Information going to be relayed on one of them. Immediately down, looking for the second. Mars only going to find one. Kill dropped in towards the B lobby, and so Reham, he was on the mid flank really late. In for 1v3 and doing a good job with that kill, eluding him, looking for the leg. Hornets able to get the kill, but unfortunately just not going to have enough time, and UGK making great work of the time, a great decision to go through on the flank. It will pay out in multitudes as UGK just a couple steps away from 16. Oh, I just realized I forgot to update the HUD. This is not main. That's my bad. Ignore that. I'll change that. This is a good round to change it. Unless if Hornet doesn't go huge with the Dagon, I mean, I don't think he will. So, give me one moment. These settings are carried over. There we go. Fix that issue. As we tab back in, Chewy's left all alone. He's got one rifle to fight with here, but unfortunately Mars just has the better weapon. He'll make do. Snake's Den, only half the scoreline of UGK, and only 2 rounds away from a map win. You have to wonder what's going through Snake's Den's heads right now, right? Because you've only had a couple rounds to work with. The first gun round you lost was a bonus buy. You objectively had worse weaponry. And you save the next round, you try to bag back with the rifles, you find yourself in an awkward situation. I wouldn't say on the CT side Snake's Den's making the wrong decisions. Unfortunately, the circumstances are just putting them in worse situations. And I mean, UGK positioning themselves well to put themselves in those situations, I guess. I can't say they're not. Still, a lot less utility for this CT side. They've made a change up in pace. They've gone for a play over towards the B side of the map. It finds themselves a trade on kills. UGK ready to trade it out. That's good. Boosted up. Mars finds himself picking off a mispositioned Jackie, and so as we head to a 3v3 and the bomb starts to work its way over towards the B side of the map, rotations will start to shift, and that smoke's going to be well timed. Once found some utility baited out. The last smoke of UGK as well, and so they're going to be looking to try to get to a bomb site with just the flashbangs alone. Gonna be... I was going to say eating that nade, but I think that landed just above Reham for the time being. I'm not sure if Hyena's rifle is exposed in a situation like this. I don't think it is, but with the A1S you never know. It's a pointy gun. That's all I'll say. Ready to lurk its way up Mars with the op. Ready to be the spearhead of this, and Hornets got to be the first to get a kill here, if not 2. If you give UGK the opportunity to be in a post-fight situation with 2 players alive, it's going to be dangerous. Instead, they find themselves with 3 men alive. Mars finding a second kill on the bomb site, and Omad, rifle in hand, as his team broke. He almost has to concede this, but unfortunately, you're faced with certain doom. The decision made here is crucial, and because his teammates fully broke, he has to force himself to save, and Snake's Den need 8 rounds in a row to contest for overtime, and UGK... they'll be granted so many opportunities to bring this game home. You can see how well that was done. I mean, the B bomb site is interestingly positioned. It's difficult to force yourself into crossfire situations because you either expose yourself to cave or you expose yourself to the ramp. And so... it's difficult to make that crossfire work. And I mean, Hornet, he didn't have the information on the players coming up, and so once he was fighting, they were already on the bomb side, and the last player there just not able to quite contest off of those 3 players swinging as he was in towards CT, I believe. So UGK, plenty of money as well, and so even a couple round losses could be forgiven for them. Able to take chances, and Snake's Den have made one over towards mid. Jackie's looking to push up close. Cat control going to be contested by Shada. He's going to have to face this crossfire towards the cave. A little bit of a wallbang from Hornet's going to find him blindsided. Snake's Den finding themselves with an early entry here. Irish playing with fire here, but a Molotov just causing some noise. I'm just going to rotate his way back towards the B bomb side. Is just... Man, Jack is getting so much information here. This play's very well respected. Irish finds himself a kill. But he's deciding to fall back. This timing is legendary, but unfortunately over in the B bomb site, more pressing matters are going to ensue. Hornet finding himself another in the flank. Now in danger, UGK. The remaining two players, Mars and Reham, want to find a way opening back into this, but the FAMAS not going to connect any more bullets this time around. In for a 2v2. CT is going to be split. UGK opt to do the same. Mars wants another kill. He's going to try to find it as Reham forces his way up towards the ramp. He can take advantage of a timing situation here. Unfortunately, Hornet's already worked his way through. So unless he hits some nasty no-scope, and unfortunately Mars won't, that'll leave Reham in for a 1v2. Bomb's going to go down for free. Oh, had the information, or at least the read on where Omad was, but well positioned with the M4. Oh, sorry. Crosshair, sorry. Going to find himself that last kill, and so Snake's Den losing 15-8. 7 rounds to go, and UGK's economy still looking healthy. But in this round, they find themselves with an AK in hand. Slightly better weaponry, and I mean, this is what you need, right? As you start to upgrade your weaponry in a comeback, that is the kind of situation you want to be finding yourself. If you can start winning rounds with worse weaponry and worse util, you can start to upgrade with the T-Side's utility, their weaponry. Rounds start to get cheaper and they get easier as a result of it. So this could be the turning point Snake's Den we're looking for, but unfortunately, only one mistake would seal the deal for them. Hunter finding that kill in towards the A bomb side, but Omad, well positioned here, he could find himself with the first entry. Spray control is going to be a little bit crazy, and Irish full blind is going to find that kill. Oh man, that play would have been perfect, but Irish finding a second as well. Say bomb site's been ripped wide open, and Chewy able to bring it down to a 2v3, but Hornet's still on the other side of the map. The bomb's starting to rotate its way back in towards the A site. Very quiet. Op and Spawn's gonna drop Chewy, and so down to Hornet. Needs to find 3. On the late rotate, needs to make it work. No other option. They lost to Duck Esports 19-17, and here on Ancient, round number 2 against UGK, they'll drop before they even hit double digits, and unfortunate. It has to be said, UGK just seemed like the better team in the server in that in this game. Which isn't a bad thing, right? UGK come into the season with a lot of really good players. I mean, they're brought to 5 and off the back of this. They got a lot of infrastructure around them, so they didn't look completely out of the game at all points of that. We saw the comeback at the latter end of that second half, and it is completely respectable. So, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think. There were a couple things I think could have switched things up. Every time, at least I've been on the stream, I've seen a couple players on Snake's Den pop up. Usually, you know, I'm praising the likes of, you know, Jackie, Hornet, Chewy, Oma. I mean, I guess everyone on the server. We usually have players popping off, able to hold their own and push back almost any offensive, if not being the offensive that the team needs to just find your way back in from any round. But not able to find their footing. The economy beating them up so many times too. They would lose close gun rounds and force themselves back on a pistol. So the rounds where they could potentially break the economy of the other team, they just find themselves with worse weaponry as a result, and maybe they force themselves into a force situation that also, you know, puts yourself off the worst foot as well. And so, you know, with that said, better luck next time. Snake's Den now 3-2. They'll be led into their next match. Let me check when it is. It's going to be the 17th. That's 2 days from now, I think, if I refresh. I think we'll be able to see the map they'll be playing on next time. Yeah, okay, so they'll be playing Ancient again. So funnily enough, that'll be another LCA in-house stream. Unjustified Gaming versus Snake's Den GG should be a very nice one at that. And Redemption on the line. 2 losses on Ancient in a row, 1 scoreline worse than the next, or the last. But plenty of practice to work with. I'm sure they'll have plenty of opportunities as well. And that's going to be it for me from the time being. Unfortunately, no interview tonight, but guaranteed the next win on Ancient, when that interview happens, I'm going to be there to make sure that we'll hype up the boys and make sure that we can keep some momentum going to later stage of the season. But yeah, that's going to be it for me tonight. I'll maybe catch you guys on the 17th, if not, hopefully at some later time over the course of this season. But starting to hit the halfway mark, that's going to be it for me. Have a good night, everybody. Oh man, I'm thirsty.